Look closely at the surface of this resilient desert succulent. It lives in an environment designed to kill. For 9 months of the year, it receives zero rainfall, and ground temperatures routinely exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit before plunging below freezing at night. Any normal biological organism left out here would desiccate and die in a matter of days, yet this plant thrives. This survival relies on a rapid cellular response that forces the organism to reinforce its own structure the moment it detects environmental pressure. Understanding this botanical response reveals how environmental resistance triggers the same capacity for regeneration in complex organisms, including humans. Compare that hostile desert landscape to our modern surroundings. Most of us spend our days at a constant 72 degrees Fahrenheit. We sit in ergonomic chairs, ride in cushioned vehicles, and outsource physical labour to machines. Over the last century, we successfully eliminated friction from our daily routines, engineering away the need to carry heavy loads, sprint from danger, or endure severe temperature swings. But that absolute comfort comes with a strict physiological penalty. Without physical resistance, our muscles rapidly atrophy, connective tissues lose their elasticity, and bone density drops, creating a baseline of physical fragility. This happens because of a biological principle called hormesis, which dictates that living tissue requires a specific dose of beneficial stress to maintain its strength. Without that stress, the body has no reason to invest energy into cellular maintenance. For millennia, our bodies relied on a steady hum of physical exertion to keep our cellular machinery running, but today, that input has vanished into a plummeting line of total inactivity. By successfully insulating ourselves from every natural shock and struggle, we have starved our biology of the signal it needs to stay strong. We can see the necessity of this signal back in our desert plant. Watch what happens when a sudden, severe frost hits the landscape at midnight. Ice crystals begin forming on the epidermis, and the temperature drop shocks the internal fluids, pushing the organism toward the point of cellular collapse. Right at this threshold of failure, the plant reacts. Cold triggers emergency signals directing proteins to the cell membrane. They don't just patch the damage, they actively thicken the cell walls, weaving a denser, rigid matrix that is much harder for ice to penetrate. In natural biology, environmental trauma provides the mandatory instruction code for growth. If you step inside an elite sports medicine lab and zoom in on the quadriceps of a sprinter under heavy load, you will see the exact same biological sequence playing out. Human muscle fibers rely on the same stress response programming seen in the plant. When you lift a heavy weight or sprint up a hill, you are generating intense mechanical tension, forcefully pushing your muscle fibers right up against their structural limits. If the load is heavy enough, the strain creates microscopic tears along the muscle fiber. You are deliberately inflicting controlled physical damage to your own tissue, and that damage is the signal. Your body treats these micro tears as a trauma event, flooding the site with amino acids and fusing the torn fibers together to construct a thicker, more resilient muscle strand. In this context, muscle growth is a protective response to mechanical stress, designed to armor the body against future loads. However, the defense response is only half the equation. The morning after the frost, our desert plant sits in total stillness, quietly absorbing sunlight and morning dew. If the freezing temperatures never lifted, the plant would eventually die. The biological fortification process only completes itself when the environment returns to a state of total calm. The same rule governs human physiology. You do not get stronger while you are lifting weights. The actual physical adaptation happens later, requiring undisturbed sleep, ample nutrients, and total physical rest. If you introduce an initial shock that drops your capacity and then follow it with a defense response and dedicated rest, the body settles at a new, higher baseline of strength. But if you skip the recovery phase and hit the tissue with a second shock before it restores, the baseline declines, leading to chronic fatigue, persistent injuries, and structural breakdown. Stress is only beneficial if it is temporary. Without dedicated periods of recovery, physical strain acts as a catalyst for decay rather than a trigger for growth. Watching a human being sprinting across an open ridge or scaling a rock face is a reminder that we are created for friction. Reversing the physical decay of modern life doesn't require synthetic biohacks or expensive medical shortcuts. The hardware for resilience is already part of your biology. You can take ownership of the system by looking at your comfortable, climate-controlled routine and intentionally injecting bouts of intense physical effort, balanced with equal periods of complete rest. By adopting the same stress and recovery cycle used by nature's toughest organisms, you too can override biological decline and unlock a more resilient version of yourself. We're building a community of like-minded individuals who love nature and healthy living. Click like and subscribe. It's free and it only takes a second, and by supporting us helps us to create more content like this for you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to turn notifications on.